So how's it going, my comics? And I'm here today with Christian Douglas from Unpopular Comics, and the book he's here to talk about today is Unpopular Tales. Yeah,
Hello.
how you doing, man?
Thank you for having me, man. Been
Yeah.
a pleasure to finally meet you. I'm talking for a while now, so it's always a pleasure to be, in the program and talking to you and fellow creators. So always good, good things. And
So,
as I was mentioned before we started Libertarian, we had a con this week, and we had another one last week, and then we have another one next week. So a little bit exhausted, but no, part of the game. Part of the game.
you're not inside the United States, are you?
No, I'm in Dublin. I'm in Ireland. I'm the other side of the pond. But the one I have next week is New York, so I will be in your guys' neck of the woods next week. So yeah.
So far, all the creators that I've interviewed outside of the United States is pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
nowadays with technology, the word is a handkerchief more than ever,
the only thing that becomes a hindrance is the time zones, because y'all are like 12, 13, 14 hours ahead of me. So my night is y'all's morning and vice versa,
You have it's probably the same as EST, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it's 5 hours, so it's not that bad. That's not that bad. For us, the bad ones are California, because that's like normally 9, so that's highly problematic.
And Australia,
afternoon shows, stuff like that. I said, no, man, that's not gonna get up at 2 in the morning to do shows for them.
In Australia, they're like 12 hours ahead of me. So
what are you gonna do?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
We all gotta make sacrifices to make this whole
For sure.
Unpopular Tales. What's the elevator pitch?
The whole idea with the studio is that we saw that we started something like 12 years ago. That's where we came with the whole idea of the Unpopular Studio, Unpopular Tales, Popular Series, and all that. We saw that a lot of the mainstream was going to. It was we saw like the beginnings of it. It's not as bad as I got it nowadays. So everyone was trying to like fit in, do safe choices, try to do artificial things and tick boxes and things started to sound phony and weird, like they were created by a committee somewhere, And they say, okay, so this is reasoning was, okay, this is the popular thing. We're gonna do the opposite of this. We're not gonna be PC. We're not gonna be complacent, because at the end of the day, the truth and life is not complacent. It's not that easy, because if it was that easy, then life will be to a certain extent boring, because it just be all right. If it is the right thing, everybody just do this and everything is okay. So it won't be. It's always life and reality is a lot more complex than that. So that was our reason behind it. That's why we chose that name. We wanted to be I almost said the underdog, but like the contrarian, just to be the devil's advocate, Say, okay, so if this is what everybody's saying, why don't we try to debate a little bit and let's put ourselves in the other side. Sometimes we are in that other side. Sometimes we just do it just for the sake of having a debate, because I think that's important in everything. Not everything is straightforward, except 2 or 3 things in life. Everything else, you have nuances and details, and also that's a way to also to have empathy and to put yourself in the shoes of the other person, to know where they're coming from and why they think like this or why they behave like that. So I think that's important, and we're losing that a lot, and especially with all this artificial type of communication that nobody really see each other in the eyes anymore, and they just want to have the last sentence in an artificial conversation. That I kind of I agree with Chappelle then when he said in one of his specials that Twitter is not real, social media is not real, it's not reality. That's why they call it the virtual world, real one. So that's how come where we came from. That's the main idea, And the whole idea, of the folk tales, because that's what we started, what we're still doing is to recuperate that same grittiness and the same moral tone and the same cautionary tales. Hey, should be pay attention to this. You should not trust strangers. You should tell you what your parents tell you to do, and trust your elders and stuff like that. That we have been losing a lot just for the sake of losing it. So that part. So, yeah.
So what's the comic book about?
The latest one, the one that you see on the screen is Pinocchio, and it's volume 2. And we still have the same elements of the classical story of Colori. It was done by an Italian author at the beginning of the 20th century, before World War One. So imagine that's a very old story. And we still have the same elements. We still have Geppetto. We still have Pinocchio. In this case, it's an android, so it's not really a he or she, just an it. And we still have the fairy godmother and all the elements, but we put it in a different context. Talk about a reality that we think is very, very in the thought of everyone. It's AI, artificial intelligence, and technology, and how we use it. Are we going to be the tool that technology is going to use, or is technology a tool that we're going to use, or what's the role? So it's a dystopian future, and based on that classical folktale. This is the same thing we do with the first one. The first one was Red Riding Hood, and the whole idea behind that, it was back in the day. The first one we did something like 10 years ago. It was like violence against women. It was that whole topic of this is way before Me Too, way before all that. So we want to always try to be that, to be on the edge, to talk about things that are not easy to talk to, and try to give and take to it, and at least open up the conversation. So this is the latest one we did, yeah. It's going to be 4 numbers. We just did the first one in August. We finished the crowdfunding. Got funded in like less than 72 hours. I think it was like 68 or something like that. So we're very happy with it, and everybody who sees it, we're happy with it, and we're going to keep doing it. We're going to be publishing them at least twice a year. That's the plan. And in the middle, we're going to do another cyberpunk anthology that we did last year. That's Foundroid. That's because it's kind of all related in the same theme, the same area,
I'm looking at the first one, The Lost Files.
Yeah.
The art's awesome. Is it the same artist for issue 1 and 2?
No. The first, for example, the guy who did the cover, the Pedro Delgado, was the first comic. And the one he did the Lost File, that's Marcel Perez, that's an artist from Disney. That one he made the novel, and this is a different one. The guy who made the latest cover is David Metal, who is he normally works in cinema. He was, for example, one of the concept artists of the Alien movie that was cinemas a couple of weeks ago. So that's really high end. He's done Jurassic Park. He's done Game of Thrones. Was in Renfield. So it's like top of the food chain. We're very lucky because a friend of ours, and we kind of like trick him in doing stuff with us. but this is it's a different one. We would like to. The thing is that normally the people who do for example, the comic itself, it's the same person that did the first one, Claudio Sanchez. But we also work with a lot of other artists. In the anthology, for example, that we did last year, there were 25 different artists there. Between writers, inkers, pencilers, letterers, editors, and everything. So we want that's a studio, so we want to have a good poker of people that we want to work with, and we know they're good. And at the end of the day, it's the most important thing. That you feel comfortable with who you're working and how you're doing things. Because I think that's how the best results always come, when you are at ease and when you work on your terms and everybody's on the same page. So yeah, we for the cover artist, normally we tend to change. So for the covers, no. We want to, for example, for the volume 2 of Foundroid, we want to bring back the same cover artist. That's James Ng. That's a guy from Hong Kong. He's fantastic. He's specialized in robots and steampunk and all that jazz. So, but we want to change the switch for that, so we also bring all the different their audience too, and we can see that people follow them too. So we open up markets and different, and the work reaches more. And also, for example, we changed the genre. The first one we did was risque, erotica, what I want to call it. This is science fiction, cyberpunk, but the next one we're still kind of debating if it's gonna be fantasy or if it's gonna be horror, or that's gonna be decided by people who follow us. It's on a newsletter. But I've written like 8 already. So we have Alice in Wonderland, we have Beauty and the Beast, all with that idea, that tone, and each one with different genres. Because want to explore different things, and I don't want to do always the same thing, I remember that back in the day when we were starting the whole marketing idea and creating the avatar and all those things that you're supposed to do at the beginning. And one of the first question they asked me, what do you want to be known for, at least at the beginning? I want to be the guy that's known for the tales, the folk tales. That's the one. And then I can pivot from there. Because there you have so much richness to it, so much to cut through there. Only just by, if you focus on the Grimm brothers, for example, it's crazy the amount of things that they produce, And you have, and we're not going to do one. We're going to do him. We're going to do Christian Andersen. We're going to do Mention for Collodi. We're going to do Perrault, the guy that did the writing. So we're going to do them all eventually. So there's a lot there.
And the difference from the Grimm brothers' tales to what we got as a kid is way, way different. Way darker, way grittier, more.
Because that's the whole idea. I think this did a lot of damage there. It's sweetening things way too much. So we want to recuperate that tone, because if you read the original stuff, is grim and dark, and it's not really for kids. It's very scary, but that's how you are in your feed. That's how you pay attention. If there's an animal thinking and everything's fantastic, and you just have to believe in yourself, and magically things will resolve. And
the world we live in is gritty, ugly, dirty, slimy, just a bunch of ugly. And I agree. There should be a little bit of realism in everybody's story,
To a certain extent too. We don't want to just to be very grim and for the sake of it. For example, we have done images about this. Hey, what do you think of AI? What do you think about robots? I think we are at a very important moment in our history, and I hope we choose for the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it could be really fantastic. We do it well too. So it's everything. It's like we were talking about today about this with, as I mentioned, with my body in the convention. It's like when we invented the nuclear energy. It's a fantastic technology. Fantastic if you think about it. The thing is that it can be very scary at the same time, but it's a fantastic technology. It's a lot of energy, cheap, not that complicated, especially nowadays. There's a lot of security. So, but there's always the risk of going wrong, because we are an imperfect species, and we like to focus on things we shouldn't be focused on. And so, but I think I trust. We are very resilient species. So I think, a lot of things are gonna happen, but I think we're not gonna go anywhere.
What social medias are you on? Where can people find you?
Like on all of them, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, on Threads, and on Blue Sky. So almost all of them. So it's always like Unpopular Tales, Unpopular Studios, depending on the social media. But the easiest way is just by the website, unpopstudio.com. And if you go to the website, you have all the handles there. So just click. But normally it's like the Unpopular Tales, Popular Studio, you'll find it easy.
How much longer do you have on the Kickstarter?
It's done. It was finished back in August. Done. Yeah.
Can people still get the book?
Yeah, of course, in the website for sure. We're now on pre-sale, and we got several goodies until we finish pre-sale. Yeah, for sure. Sure, always on the website. And there are several stores that have it in the States. There are some that have it in Europe. So because we have this model, we want to sell to everybody. We want to be more sell more exclusivity. Things like the big ones cannot do really, because you cannot win playing the same game. That's I think that's my opinion. That's a failed strategy. You cannot go. It's like what happened in Vietnam. So you cannot win if you don't have the same force. You have to think of a different strategy to want to win. So it's the same thing. So you cannot play their game. You need to move in a different game. And nowadays you don't really need distributors, or you don't need all the stores. You just need a couple of them that just trust you, and that's it. You have that. You have the website. You have the conventions. That's it. Anything that's a win.
What Comic Cons are you going to attend this year?
Just before we started, I'm going to be in NYCC next week. So that's the big one this year, New York. And we're gonna be in Small Press booth 1947. Anyone is in those Indiecomics, we're gonna be there. We already were in Dublin. We already were in what else we did this year? We did Dublin twice. Going to New York. Probably gonna do London, November most probably. And then the next year we're gonna do France, Chicago most probably too. C2E2 next year. Hopefully New York too, and I'm gonna do Japan next year. So yeah, a lot of planes in the future. But good. I think it's wonderful. One of my favorite things to do. Just travel to meet different fans. Because normally we did our books in English, in Spanish, and Japanese. We are in those three languages. And now we want to do the French one. That's it. That's the 4 ones that you really need. That's the biggest one.
That's awesome. That way you can appeal to everybody. Everybody can read it.
Yeah. No, and for example, in Europe, the biggest market is the French market, for example. That's the biggest market by far, because it's very cultural there. People buy comic like you buy newspaper, or like you buy the groceries, So it's fantasy night. You have it in every ubiquitous. So so hey, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just have to be where the action is.
I agree. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No, thank you again for this opportunity. Oh yeah, it was a pleasure to finally meet you face to face, Kana, and we'll hopefully see you in near future. We want to go to the Orlando one. They told us it's really good one, the Comic Con. So show in Europe or whatever. You can come here. It's a nice place.
Yeah. Yeah. When you come down here to the I think it's MegaCon in Florida is the big one.
Yeah. That's the big one. So we want to, hopefully we get there soon. But just enjoy, have a nice one, and if you have a couple of seconds, I would love if you guys can check out the thing we do, because we have good stuff there. I'm not the guy that likes to blow my own horn, but the thing we do, we take care of the detail, we take care of the quality. That's why we don't do that many a year, because we want to be really good,
I agree. I appreciate you taking the time to come talk with me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your time too. Thank you for giving this opportunity.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.